So there are a number of different definitions of assessment. Trevithick defines it as an attempt to understand the nature of a problem, its cause, and what needs to be done to resolve or minimise its impact. And there'll be a variety of practice approaches to assessment, but all of them highlight the importance of practitioners being empathetic, respectful, and genuine in their contact with service users and others. Dyke encourages us to think about assessment on 3 levels. Level 1 is helping a person understand themselves and potentially create positive change in their own life or in the lives of family members. Level 2, helping an involved professional, including you and any colleagues working with the service user, to help the person, whether through direct recommendations or through creating a better understanding of that person's needs, situation and family dynamics. And level 3, helping a removed professional, for example, your manager, a judge or an inspector, to ensure that the involved professionals are helping that person properly. Now, Dyke stresses that all 3 levels have a part to play, but that we mustn't write our reports for the 3rd level at the expense of the other. And that's sometimes a tension when it comes to the writing up of assessment reports that we will come to again. So Milner et al. Define assessment by virtue of 5 stages that it involves, and I think this is really helpful to move us away from thinking about an assessment as a form, which is a risk that I think we have in social work practice. The assessment is not the form, the assessment is the decision or judgment that's gained through going through this process, these stages. So there should be a process of preparation, thinking about who needs to be involved, what information's needed, from who, being clear about the purpose of the assessment, thinking about how you articulate that purpose to the people you'll be engaging with. And then the second stage is the data collection. So that includes the bit about actually interviewing the people involved. So it might be that you interview a service user, it might be that you interview a number of members of a family, for example, as part of the assessment process. But you will also be sourcing data from other places as well, potentially. So you might be getting information, for example, from a service user's doctor to inform your assessment, or a nursery, a school. So the assessment process involves this collecting data that then informs the next stages of the assessment. So the third stage is about applying professional knowledge, and you will be learning a whole raft of theory and legislation and social policy as you go through the course, and you'll learn even more when you go on placement about the specific area of practice, and you'll build on that on an ongoing basis throughout your professional career. So you will collect data, but then you'll apply your professional knowledge to the data that you've got to help you make sense of it. And then you'll move on to stage 4, which is about making judgments about the needs, risks, strengths, relationships, standards, level of concern, capacity to change, a whole range of judgments that you'll be required to make, which feels uncomfortable because quite often we hear lots of talk about being non-judgmental, whereas actually you are required through the assessment process to make judgments. But they should be balanced judgments and reflective as well, whereby you're questioning, you're considering a range of different explanations for things, to make sure that you're being balanced. And it's important that you triangulate the information that you get, the data that you get. You might find that there's conflicting data. There might be things that are told to you by one member of the family that conflict with another member of the family, or conflict with information that you get from the GP or from the school, for example. And you need to think about what you do about that in order to come to a reasoned judgment about what's going on. That will then inform the decisions or recommendations that you make out of the assessment process. So this is where the assessment process is a skilled activity. It's something that involves, all of the interpersonal skills that we'll be thinking about on the module, but also things like skills of analysis and judgment and decision making as well.